Welcome to Paper Moon Music. I'm Nate, and today we are going to be doing Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles. So, there's a particular way that I do it, that I like to do it, where we are combining the melody with the strumming of the chords. So that's what we're going to try to do today. And I'm also going to kind of go over the arpeggio stuff that happens also in the song, but that's not going to be the core of the lesson. The core of the lesson is kind of learning the melody, right, the main melodies, and combining the chords with them. So to start off with, we have a capo on the 7th fret, okay? And the main chords are going to be D, G, and then A7. There's also going to be a E7 on E7 in there as well. So might as well just start off with the main melody and kind of go from there. So we're going to be starting it with D, and an easier way to do this is without the strumming, just kind of strumming the chord once and then playing the melody while you're holding that chord, while you're letting it sustain. So if you notice right now, I'm playing the melody, right? But I'm also holding those chords while I'm doing it. And that's one of the tricks that I like to do. The only difference is every time I'm playing a melody note, I'm going to also be strumming more than one string. So let's start off and learn that melody line. So the melody line starts off like this. We're on D, and we're going to go F sharp, D, E, F sharp, D, F sharp, E, D. Then we're transitioning to G. It's going to be G chord with B in the upper voice, the melody. B, D, E, D. Then we're transitioning to A7. And it's going to go B, C sharp, B, B, C sharp, B, C sharp, D, D. All right? And that's all on the 2nd string. So that one's kind of harder to strum than the other ones, right? When you have that melody note start happening on the 2nd string, that's when it's kind of more difficult to keep strumming going, because we have to kind of constrict our strumming pattern, right? We can't just go all the way through, right? It's very easy to just kind of strum all 6 strings, but it's a lot harder when we have to kind of narrow that range of the pick, and that's what we're attempting to do here. So we had A7, right? And then we kind of go back into it. We delay things a little bit, but for the most part, it's roughly the same melody. All right, so now I'm going to talk about combining them, or at least what I'm kind of trying to say. So what we're doing is we're going to be playing the melody with the chords, and every time you play a melody note, you're also going to be strumming. And the way it's going to work is just like normal strumming, right? On 1, 2, 3, and 4, we're going to be doing downstrokes. And on ands, we're going to be doing upstrokes. So if the melody note is on an and, then you want to do an upstroke. If the melody note is on a 1, 2, 3, or 4 on a downbeat, then we want to do a downstroke. We have a tab that you can get that should be downloadable, and you will hopefully be able to see the rhythm there, right? So you'll be able to, even though if I'm not saying it right now, you know, this is a downstroke or that's an upstroke, you should be able to tell from the tab that, okay, here I'm going to be doing a downstroke, here I'm going to be doing an upstroke. And if you can combine the two, it's going to be a really effective tool in playing this piece by yourself. So I'll play it through the way I'm intending us to learn it, and then after that we'll go into the arpeggio section. So we're going to start with the same chord, D. Much more effective than, say, just playing the melody by itself. Right? That seems very vulnerable, very naked if you just play the melody by itself. If you incorporate the chords into it, you just support it way much more, and that's definitely what I would recommend for playing of this song. So now that we've got that out of the way, that's the main part, and that's going to be the hardest part. We can learn a couple more things that happen in a song that are pivotal to the song, crucial to the song. So this part right here that happens after that, this little section right here, this little arpeggio, it's basically just, you know, they're not triplets, right? But I kind of think they're just eighth notes, starting on the and a 4 right here. But I kind of think of them as groups of 3 notes, right? Because we're going. And then we have that little bit at the end. So any way you want to play that with the pick would probably be good. I'm doing up, down, 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 down. And then up, down, up, up. But there's different ways you can do that. And the way where that one's happening is we're in second position, right? Relative to the capo. Our second finger is going to be on D, and our first finger is going to be taking care of A, third finger is going to be taking care of B. And we're just playing the first 3 strings, alright? So that's that section. Then the next section, the bridge, or whatever you want to call it, this little bit right here, is almost the same. And again, it's going to be sort of the same thing. There are eighth notes, but there's sort of like there are groups of 3 notes. At least it looks like to me. You know, you had this right here, 0, 4, 2, or A, C sharp, E, right? Basically, there's a major arpeggio. Then you're going to go F, A, C, C, E, G, B, D, G, and then G, B, D. Okay? And the hardest part about that section is the counting. What they're doing is they're changing time signature every single measure while that part is happening. They're going from a measure of 7/8 to 6/8 to 5/8 and then finally to 4/4. And it starts in the measure of 7/8 on the 5th beat. So what you have to do, the way you have to count that is you're going to have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, and so on. I don't know how many times it repeats, but quite a few, right? So in order to be safe, right, you don't want to come in early, you don't want to come in late on that part. You're just going to have to count it out. No matter how good you get, that parts like that are just something that you can't really take a chance on, you know what I mean, even if you really feel it. So I encourage you to count along with that one, practice it with a metronome, you know, like just like a standard eighth note count, let's say, right? And other than that, I think that's pretty much it. There's a couple transitional things that I didn't cover here. There's one little thing like this that helps us transition back into the beginning. So you can maybe get that as just a D to A7 chord. But other than that, it's really just, you know, putting those together in the form of the song, right? And you can go off of their template, the way the Beatles played on the album, right? Or you can just kind of arrange it yourself, right? Like do this, and then, okay, we'll do that little arpeggio thing, string it together, and make it work. So hopefully that works out for you guys, and good luck. Thanks.